So, you think you know Dan Ticktum? Alright, gearheads, buckle up. We're diving down the rabbit hole that is Dan Ticktum's career. This guy's got a story that's more dramatic than a pit stop gone wrong on Monza's main straight. You might know the name, especially if you follow the feeder series of motorsport. But let me tell you, there's more to Ticktum than meets the eye. Ticktum was practically born behind the wheel. We're talking dominating karting championships at an age most kids are glued to cartoons. British titles, European accolades, the kid was a rising star. He zooms into Formula 4 and everything's looking peachy. Until it's not. Imagine leading the pack, the checkered flag practically waving at you, and then, bam! Disaster strikes. Ticktum gets disqualified for a risky move. Hey, we've all been there, right? Made a split-second decision that backfired? But with Ticktum, it wasn't just a miscalculation. It was a full-on, what were you thinking moment. The kind of move that leaves everyone scratching their heads. And then, the next race weekend, buckle up. Because things go from 0 to 60 real quick. We're talking a meltdown of epic proportions, a crazy crash that takes out another driver. Let's just say it wasn't his most glorious moment. The penalty, a 2-year ban. Ouch. Talk about a setback. But Ticktum ain't no quitter. The dude serves his time, keeps his head down, and starts clawing his way back. He shows some serious talent in Formula Renault, even snags a podium. And then, the moment that could change everything. Red Bull, the holy grail of junior motorsport, takes notice and brings him back into the fold. This is it, right? The path to Formula 1 glory is paved. Ticktum starts firing on all cylinders. He battles for the Formula 3 championship and even conquers the legendary Macau Grand Prix. Remember Macau? That wild street circuit where anything can happen on any corner? Yeah, Ticktum tames the beast. This victory should be his golden ticket to F1, right? Well, that's where things get a little tricky. See, Macau is a bit like that friend who throws the most epic parties, but their apartment is always a mess. It's a great showcase of skill, but it doesn't always translate perfectly to the complexities of F1. Here's where things get interesting. Ticktum heads over to Japan for Super Formula, but the magic just isn't there. It feels like someone put a limiter on his potential. There are rumors swirling about him being a bit of a teammate handful, some whispers about his attitude that might rub people the wrong way. Then, to top it all off, social media erupts. Let's just say Ticktum's online rant wasn't exactly a PR masterpiece. The result? Red Bull shows him the door, leaving him without their coveted junior program backing. Now here's the plot twist. Is this the final curtain call for Ticktum's F1 dream? Not necessarily. There have been drivers with past controversies who've managed to redeem themselves. Think Kimi Räikkönen, the original Iceman. The guy wasn't exactly known for being a team player early on in his career, but he chilled out, matured, and became a world champion. But Ticktum needs to learn from his mistakes faster than you can say, pit stop. He needs to convince everyone he can handle the pressure, be a team player, not a lone wolf. The talent is undeniable, but raw talent alone won't get you to the pinnacle of motorsport. It's about channeling that talent, keeping your cool under pressure, and being someone your team wants to fight alongside, not against. So, what does the future hold for Dan Ticktum? Here's the thing. Motorsport, especially F1, is a team sport. It's not just about going fast in a fancy car. It's like having a perfectly tuned race car. It's useless without a skilled driver who can handle it and a whole team behind them to keep it running smoothly. You need to be able to communicate effectively with your engineers, strategists, mechanics, the whole crew. They become your family on race day, your pit lane pit crew, your secret weapon. They're the ones who strategize the perfect pit stop, analyze the weather patterns that could impact tire wear, and guide you through those heart-stopping final laps. If you can't build those relationships, if you constantly come across as a hothead who throws tantrums instead of working together, it's going to be a bumpy ride, faster than a tire change on a speeding car. Imagine pulling into the pits after a grueling stint, and instead of the usual camaraderie and encouragement, there's tension in the air. That's not a recipe for success, is it? Now, does this mean Ticktum is doomed to fail? Absolutely not. But he's got to make some serious changes. Think about it this way. Imagine yourself hurtling down a racetrack at 200 miles per hour. That takes focus, laser focus, like threading a needle at warp speed. But it also takes trust. Trust in your car, trust in your team to have given you the best possible setup, and trust in yourself to make the right call under pressure, to know when to push and when to hold back. Ticktum's got to learn to channel his fire, that raw talent we all know he has, into a positive force. He's got to be the driver teammates want to celebrate with on the podium, not the one causing controversy in the headlines. Here's the thing. Motorsport, especially F1, isn't a one-man show. It's a team effort, a finely tuned machine where every cog needs to mesh perfectly. You see it in those flawless pit stops, a symphony of practiced movement where seconds are shaved off like a magician pulling a rabbit from a hat. That kind of seamless operation requires a driver who can be a leader, someone who inspires confidence and motivates the crew around them. It's about clear communication, acknowledging mistakes, and working together to find solutions. Remember that disastrous crash early in Ticktum's career? Imagine if, instead of lashing out, he'd sat down with his team, analyzed the telemetry, and learned from the error. That's the kind of maturity teams are looking for. A driver who can take responsibility and use setbacks as stepping stones. Look, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. The road ahead for Ticktum is going to be tough. He's got a reputation to rebuild, bridges to mend, and a whole lot of doubters to silence. It's an uphill battle for sure. But hey, that's what makes a good comeback story, right? Maybe he'll land a surprise seat in a smaller F1 team. A team that's willing to take a chance on him. A team that sees the potential beneath the fiery exterior. Maybe he'll tear it up in another series like Formula E, showcasing his talent and proving his doubters wrong. The beauty of motorsport is that anything can happen. One daring overtake, one strategic masterstroke, and Ticktum could be back in the spotlight, the comeback kid with a story for the ages. It all depends on whether he can learn from his mistakes, adapt his attitude, and prove that he deserves a shot at the pinnacle of motorsport. But let's dig a bit deeper. Is there a middle ground for Ticktum? Can he retain that edge, that fiery competitiveness that makes him such a thrilling driver to watch, while also developing the maturity and team skills necessary for F1? Think about it. Some of the most successful drivers in F1 history have been known for their intensity, their almost obsessive drive to win. Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, Lewis Hamilton. These guys all had that killer instinct, that burning desire to be the best. But they also knew how to channel that intensity in a way that benefited their teams. They were vocal leaders, demanding the best from themselves and those around them, but they were also team players, able to celebrate victories and share the spotlight with their mechanics and engineers. So the question for Ticktum becomes, can he find that balance? Can he be a driver who strikes fear into the hearts of his competitors while also being someone his team respects and trusts? It's a tightrope walk for sure, but if Ticktum can pull it off, he could become a force to be reckoned with in the world of motorsport. Imagine a driver with his raw talent, his lightning-fast reflexes, but with the added maturity and team skills to truly excel at the highest level. That's a driver I'd pay to see race on a Sunday afternoon. The thing is, there's a special kind of magic that happens when a driver and their team are truly in sync. It's like watching a perfectly choreographed dance, every move precise and calculated, yet still exhilarating to witness. You see it in those on-the-limit battles for position, those daring overtaking maneuvers that leave fans on the edge of their seats. But it's also there in the quiet moments, the post-race celebrations where the driver embraces their team, acknowledging the victory as a collective effort. That's the kind of driver I believe Dan Ticktum has the potential to be. A driver who can channel his talent and intensity into something truly special. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to take some serious work, some introspection, and maybe even a healthy dose of humility. But if he can pull it off, if he can learn from his mistakes and embrace the team aspect of motorsport, then the sky's the limit. So, what do you guys think? Can Dan Ticktum turn things around and carve out a successful career in motorsport? Call to action with enthusiastic tone. Leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Maybe you've seen him race before. Maybe you have your own opinions on his talent and temperament. Encouraging nod. Let's get a conversation going in the comments section. And hey, while you're at it, Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We'll be diving deep into the stories of other up-and-coming drivers, motorsport legends, and everything in between. So buckle up, gearheads, and get ready for the ride.